Sometimes the most powerful human stories aren't found in big, dramatic films. They're hidden in plain sight, in things that look, well, kind of boring, like spreadsheets and order forms. Today, we're going to dig into a collection of reports from the Northern Arizona Community Food Project. And what looks like simple bookkeeping on the surface actually tells this incredible story of need, of support, and the real world challenges of caring for a community. So, to really get a feel for this project, we have to start small. We're going to zoom all the way in on a single list because this, right here, is where the story truly begins, with the basic fundamental needs of real people. Okay, at first glance, this just looks like a shopping list, right? It's from a single order back in April. You see the essentials, carrots, onions, but look a little closer. You also see deodorant and sanitary pads. And that's the key. This isn't just about filling stomachs, it's about providing personal dignity. That one little detail says so much about the philosophy behind this whole project. So, what does a list that mixes produce with personal care items really tell us? It tells us that this project is listening. It represents a direct, thoughtful response to what people actually say they need, not just what we assume they need. It's a grassroots effort, meeting people exactly where they are with support that covers the whole person. But that small, personal list, that's just the tip of the iceberg. When we zoom out, we start to see how these individual requests build into this massive, ongoing operation. Check out this number, $2,160.73. That was the cost of just one large order they placed on February 15th. Over $2,000 for one shipment of supplies. And as you're about to see, this was very, very far from a one-time thing. This timeline here shows just a snapshot of the orders they placed. Look at that frequency. It was constant, sometimes multiple times in the same month. This wasn't just a holiday food drive. This was a relentless, year-round commitment to keeping those shelves stocked. And when you start to add it all up, the scale really becomes clear. Just between February and September of 2025, the project spent over $14,000 on these orders. That's a staggering figure that just hammers home the immense need and the incredible effort to meet it. And this brings it all back home. That money went so far beyond just canned goods. They were consistently ordering things like diapers, baby formula, toothpaste, shampoo, and even basic seasonings like salt and pepper. This is what comprehensive care looks like in action. It's supporting nutrition, sure, but also hygiene, infant care, and the simple dignity of being able to cook a flavorful meal. Okay, so all of this effort, all this spending, what does it actually translate to in human terms? Let's take a look at the real-world impact these numbers had on the community. In 2025 alone, the project directly served over 3,000 people. Now just think about that for a second. Every dollar spent, every box packed, translated into tangible support for 3,302 individuals and families across northern Arizona. And that support was delivered by an incredible amount of human effort. We're talking more than 1,200 hours of volunteer work. This wasn't just about money. This was people dedicating their actual time and energy to help their neighbors. And on top of all that, they had this brilliant partnership with Borderlands Produce Rescue. Through that, they saved over 153,000 pounds of produce from being thrown away. I mean, that's just an incredible win-win, preventing food waste while getting fresh, healthy food to the community. But the story doesn't end with just distributing food. This project isn't only about providing immediate relief. It's about trying to build a food-secure future for everyone. They are absolutely playing the long game here. They're sponsoring local community gardens to empower people to grow their own food. They conduct these deep-dive food assessments to really understand the root causes of insecurity. And they're out there securing major grants to make sure their work is sustainable for the long haul. And one of the most powerful tools they're using is this food assessment. Now, this is so important because it shows they aren't just reacting to problems, they're proactively studying them. They are collecting hard data so they can go to local government and other organizations and push for bigger systemic change. But if you look really closely, hidden inside all these successful order forms, there's another, more subtle story. It's a story that reveals the real-world friction in doing this kind of work. As you scan through these reports, you start to notice a recurring pattern. You see them ordering critical items like baby formula, fresh potatoes, dairy, bread, all the time.
But then you look over at the item filled column and you see a 0. Again and again. They needed it, they ordered it, but the supplier just couldn't fill the request.
Now, it's really important to understand this isn't a failure of the project. Not at all. Instead, it's this stark illustration of a much larger issue, the gap between what a community desperately needs and what the supply chain can actually provide, even when you have the funding and the volunteers ready to go. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? These order forms told a really powerful story about one community in Arizona. And it just makes you wonder, what stories are hidden in the data of our own communities? What urgent, unspoken needs could we uncover if we just knew where to look?